Within the quiet architecture of the human soul, there are intervals where absence is far more than just a lack of presence. It is a vibrating field of unspoken potential. You may feel as if you are suspended in a great, echoing chamber, listening for the footsteps of someone who has retreated into the thick fog of the unknown. Yet, through the lens of depth psychology, we understand that these periods of absolute quiet are often the most turbulent. Deep within the hidden vaults of another person's consciousness, a profound internal shift is gaining momentum. They are currently navigating a crisis that reaches far beyond the boundaries of your relationship. It is a struggle for the very integrity of their being. They have reached a threshold where the fragile armor of the ego can no longer withstand the tidal force of their own repressed truth. This is the great mystery of the psyche. While we imagine ourselves to be the masters of our own will, we are frequently caught in the undercurrents of a story that began long before we ever learned to speak. This person is not merely avoiding a conversation. They are wrestling with a mirror that reflects the parts of themselves they have spent a lifetime burying in the dark. They are deciding whether to step into the terrifying light of self-awareness or to retreat once more into the numbing comfort of their defenses. What you perceive as absence or indecision is in reality a fierce battle between the persona they show the world and the authentic self that you have inadvertently awakened. Take a slow, deep breath, because the reason for their silence is changing. They are no longer just thinking about you, they are being consumed by you. They are standing at a psychological threshold where the ego's need for safety is finally being crushed by the soul's need for truth. This is the final hesitation before the breaking of a dam. The message you are receiving now is not a coincidence. It is a synchronicity. Your soul called this information in because the distance has become so thin that the truth is starting to leak through the silence. To understand the weight of this decision, we must first look at the mechanism of the ego. The ego is a small, flickering lamp in a vast and dark forest. Its primary function is to protect us, to keep us functioning in a predictable social reality. For this person, you represent a disruption to that artificial order. You are a catalyst for the unconscious, a reminder of the unlived life that they have suppressed for years. When they met you, they did not simply see a person. They encountered an archetype. You became a vessel for their own anima or animus, that internal image of the contrasexual other that represents the path to wholeness. In your presence, their carefully constructed world began to fray at the edges. They felt a vitality, a depth, and an intensity that they had long ago judged as dangerous or impossible. Now, as they sit in the quietude of their own thoughts, they are replaying every moment of that encounter. They are trying to reconcile the safety of their current life with the vibrant, unsettling possibility of a life shared with you. They are making a decision that is less about whether you are the right person and more about whether they are brave enough to face the person they become when they are with you. This internal dialogue is not happening in a vacuum. It is influenced by the weight of everything they have ever pushed aside. We must speak of the shadow, for it is the invisible guest in every human interaction. The shadow is that part of the personality which has been denied, suppressed, and cast into the darkness of the unconscious because it did not fit the image we wish to maintain. For this person, their shadow is currently screaming in the silence. They have likely spent a lifetime convincing themselves that they are self-sufficient, or perhaps that they are incapable of deep emotional vulnerability. But you have touched a nerve in that hidden landscape. By existing, you have forced them to acknowledge their own need for connection, their own capacity for longing, and their own buried fears of inadequacy. Every time they think of reaching out to you, their ego defenses spring into action like soldiers guarding a fortress. These defenses are not meant to hurt you. They are meant to save the person from the overwhelming task of self-reflection. They are deciding right now if they can survive the collapse of their old identity. To choose you is to choose to see the parts of themselves they find unacceptable. It is to admit that they are not as in control as they once believed. This is the source of the tension you feel. It is the friction of a soul attempting to outgrow its own skin. This person has picked up their phone to contact you more times than you will ever know, and every single time, something stopped them at the last second. Not because they do not love you, because they are terrified of what your answer might be. They have been standing at the edge of reaching out to you, not thinking about it, not considering it. Standing at the edge, the way someone stands at the edge of water before they jump, their whole body ready, their whole heart ready. But something in their mind keeps pulling them back before they fall. Almost. That word has been living inside them for weeks. Almost said it, almost sent it, almost called, almost showed up, almost let the truth come out of their mouth and land at your feet. But almost is not the same as doing it, and the space between almost and actually is where they have been living. It is a painful space, a space full of words that were ready but never released. A space where courage and fear take turns winning. And right now, right at this very moment, courage is starting to win. They are closer to reaching out than you think. Let your body settle into this moment. What you are about to hear is not a coincidence. The universe has been holding this message until you were ready to receive it. And now you are here, not because you searched for it, because your soul called it in. And when a soul calls something in, the divine does not hesitate. Consider the phenomenon of projection, which is the most common and most powerful of all psychological mechanisms. We do not see others as they are. We see them as we are. When this person looks toward you, they are looking through a veil of their own history. They are projecting onto you the faces of their past, the parents who were emotionally unavailable, the lovers who betrayed them, the parts of themselves they have discarded. This decision they are making is a struggle to withdraw those projections, to stop treating you as a character in their old drama, and to finally recognize you as a separate human being. But to withdraw a projection is a painful act. It requires us to take back the darkness and the light we have cast onto others. Right now they are asking themselves if they have the strength to own their own wounds instead of making you the cause of them. They are wondering if they can be honest enough to say, "The fear I feel is mine, not yours." Until they can do this, their decision will remain suspended in the air. They are caught in a repetition compulsion, a deep-seated urge to recreate the familiar pain of the past in hopes of mastering it this time. You are the opportunity for them to break that cycle. But breaking a cycle feels like an act of treason against one's own history. There is a deep responsibility in being the catalyst for another's awakening. You may find yourself waiting with a sense of urgency, wondering why they cannot simply see what is so clear to you. But we must remember that the psyche has its own timing, its own seasons of growth and decay. One cannot force the flower of consciousness to bloom before its time. This person is currently in a state of incubation. They are experiencing what I have often called the nigredo, the dark night of the soul, where everything feels black and chaotic. They are looking at the structure of their life and realizing that, while it may be stable, it is also stagnant. They are noticing that the distractions they once found satisfying now feel hollow and thin. Your absence has created a space where the truth can finally be heard. It is a psychological law that whatever we push away from our awareness will eventually return to us in the form of fate. They are realizing that you are a part of their fate that they can no longer avoid. They are making a decision about whether they will accept the challenge of individuation or whether they will remain a fragment of a person living a life of quiet desperation. This person has been carrying something they cannot hold much longer. Not the surface, not the version they show the world, the real thing, the thing that keeps them up at night. the thing that makes their hands shake when they even think about typing your name. They decided to reach out to you, not today, not this week. They decided a while ago. The decision was made in a moment they did not expect. Maybe it was an ordinary afternoon when the light hit something and everything reminded them of you. Maybe it was a stranger saying a word you always used. Maybe it was lying still when the world was asleep and feeling your absence press down on them. Maybe it was the moment they realized that the life they are living without you does not feel like living at all. The decision was made. The heart said yes. The soul said yes. But the mind said wait. And they have been waiting ever since. Not because they do not want to reach out, because they are terrified of what happens when they do. They are closer to reaching out than you think. But the fear standing between them and you is not the kind of fear you might imagine. If you have ever felt your phone buzz and hoped it was them, type almost in the comments. Let the universe know that you have been standing on your side of the same edge. They are not afraid that you will be angry. They are not afraid of your silence. They are not afraid that you will reject them with sharp words or cold distance. Those fears would be easier. Those fears have simple shapes. A person can prepare for those fears. A person can rehearse a response to rejection. But this fear has no shape. This fear is something they cannot prepare for. They are afraid that you have outgrown them. They are afraid that while they were standing still, you were moving forward. They are afraid that the person you have become no longer needs someone like them. They are afraid that they waited too long, that the window they thought would always be open has quietly started to close. Not with a sound, not with a message, but with the steady way you started building a life that does not depend on whether or not they show up. The ego often mistakes silence for power, but in truth, it is often a sign of total possession by the shadow. This person may act as though they are indifferent, as though they have moved on with ease, but this is merely the persona, the mask of the survivor. Beneath that mask, they are dealing with a profound sense of insecurity. To love someone deeply is to grant them the power to destroy you. For someone who has experienced trauma or neglect, this is an unacceptable risk. They are deciding if they can trust the universe enough to let down their guard. They are looking at the way you carry yourself, the way you have found your own grounding, and they feel a mixture of envy and admiration. You have become a beacon for them, a proof that one can be both vulnerable and strong. Or this makes them feel their own weakness more acutely. They are asking if they are worthy of the depth you offer. They are wondering if they can ever be the person this connection demands. This is the silent battle of the soul, the desire to be whole, competing with the fear of being seen. In the process of this deep inner work, they are forced to examine their own archetypal attachments. We must consider the role of the archetypes in this dynamic. In the collective unconscious, there are ancient patterns of the seeker, the orphan, the lover, and the protector. This person is currently being moved by these forces. They are trapped in the role of the orphan, the one who believes they must survive alone, because the world is inherently unsafe. You are calling them toward the archetype of the lover, which requires a surrender of the isolated ego. The decision they are making is a transition between these two states of being. It is a metamorphosis that cannot be rushed. Every day they stay away, they are testing their own endurance. They are seeing if they can truly live without the meaning you brought into their world. And every day they are finding that the answer is increasingly negative. The silence is not a lack of movement. It is the building of pressure. Like a dam that is eventually breached by the sheer weight of the water, their defenses are beginning to show cracks. They are reaching the point where the pain of staying the same is finally exceeding the pain of changing. Your own role in this drama is equally important, for you are also undergoing a process of individuation. By being forced into this space of waiting and uncertainty, you are being asked to find your own center. You must learn to hold the tension of the opposites, to love this person while simultaneously letting them go. This is the highest form of spiritual discipline. You must not become a beggar for their attention, for a beggar can never be a partner. You must become a person who is so grounded in their own self-knowledge that the decision of another cannot shake your fundamental worth. When you stop waiting, when you stop projecting your own needs onto them, you actually create the psychological space they need to move forward. As long as you are chasing, they will continue to run, for the chase provides them with the illusion of control. But when you stand still, when you occupy your own soul with absolute presence, they are forced to confront the distance themselves. They see then that you are not a prize to be won at their convenience, but a reality they must rise to meet. To go deeper into the nature of this person's struggle, we must recognize that their decision is being filtered through the lens of their unresolved trauma. Let us think deeply about the nature of trauma and how it constricts the heart. Most people move through life as a collection of survival strategies that they have mistaken for a personality. This person is no different. Their hesitation is not a choice made in the present. It is an echo of a choice made in the past, to protect themselves from a world that did not see them. When you see them clearly, you are inadvertently attacking those survival strategies. You are telling them that they are safe, but their nervous system remembers otherwise. Their decision right now is a process of unlearning. They are looking at their childhood, their previous failures, and their deeply held beliefs about their own unlovability. They're deciding if they can believe in a new narrative. This is a task of immense proportions. It is like asking a person to walk through a door when they have been told for 40 years that there is a cliff on the other side. They are standing at the threshold, looking at you, looking at the door, and looking at the cliff of their own imagination. There is a sacredness in this struggle that we must respect. It is easy to label someone as avoidant or cold, but from the perspective of depth psychology, we see a human being trying to navigate the terrifying waters of the unconscious. They are reevaluating their relationship with power and vulnerability. They are asking if they can be a partner instead of a protector or a victim. They are wondering if they have enough integrity to show up for you consistently. They know that you are not someone who will accept a half-life. They know that to be in your world, they must be fully present. This is why they are taking their time. They are checking their own foundations. They are asking if they have the internal resources to build something that will last. It is better that they hesitate now and build their strength than that they rush forward and collapse at the first sign of trouble. The decision is being finalized in the silence, and it is a decision to be real. As the energy of this connection reaches its peak, the external world will inevitably reflect the internal shift. Jung spoke of synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences where the outer world aligns with the inner state. You may begin to see small signs, subtle movements, or sudden shifts in the atmosphere. These are not magic, they are the result of a psychological field that has reached its saturation point. The decision this person is making is radiating outward. They are starting to change the way they speak, the way they work, and the way they move through their days. They are clearing the space for you, even if they haven't told you yet. They are dismantling the old structures of their life to make room for the new. This is the work of the soul, the slow, painstaking process of building a container large enough to hold the truth. It is a terrifying ordeal, the breaking down of the old self to allow for the emergence of the new. In this moment of transition, I invite you to reflect on your own journey. How has this person's indecision served your own growth? What have you discovered about your own capacity for patience, for self-love, and for holding your own light? You have become a person who no longer needs the validation of the other
to know who you are. This is the true meaning of meaning. You have transformed a painful experience into a path of self-discovery. You have made the conscious choice to stay in your own power, and that is a victory that no one can take from you. Whether this person chooses to step forward today or tomorrow, they are already changed by having known you. They can never go back to being the person they were before. They have been touched by the infinite, and the infinite is a very difficult thing to ignore. It is a slow, methodical dissolution of the persona. This person is beginning to realize that the silence they used as a shield has actually become a mirror. Every day they spend apart from you, they are seeing their own reflection more clearly. They are seeing their own cowardice, their own longing, and their own potential for greatness. They are realizing that life is not a dress rehearsal and that every moment spent in fear is a moment of life lost. They are feeling a sense of urgency that they cannot explain. It is the pressure of the soul demanding to be lived. They are looking at the clock of their life and realizing that they do not want to reach the end and wonder, what if? This is the catalyst for the final decision. It is the recognition that the safety of the ego is a hollow victory compared to the richness of the soul. They are realizing that to be fully human, one must be willing to be fully broken and then remade. The decision is not merely about an interpersonal connection. It is a decision about their relationship to existence itself. Are they a victim of their past or a co-creator of their future? This is the question that keeps them awake at night. They are realizing that they have used you as a screen upon which they projected all their unfulfilled potential. But as the projections fade, as they must, they are left with the reality of who you are and who they are. This is the moment of choice. Many flee at this stage, terrified of the responsibility of a real relationship. But this person has already fled many times. They are realizing that there is nowhere left to run. Every road leads back to the self. Every silence leads back to the heart. They are finally beginning to understand that to choose you is not to lose themselves, but to find themselves for the very first time. The psychological weight of this realization is immense. It involves a total restructuring of their inner world. They are having to admit to themselves that they were wrong about their need for you, wrong about their ability to be alone, and wrong about the nature of their own fear. To admit error is one of the ego's greatest hurdles. It requires a humility that can only be found in the depths of suffering. This person has suffered in the silence. They have felt the emptiness of their own defenses. They have looked into the void and seen that it does not provide comfort, only a cold and sterile isolation. This is what is driving them forward now. Not a whim, not a romantic fantasy, but a desperate, vital need for reality. They are hungry for the truth of human connection. In the final stages of this decision-making process, there's a sense of quietude. The battle has mostly been fought. The ego has put up its resistance and found that its old tricks no longer work. The shadow has been confronted and its message has been heard. What remains is a quiet, steady realization. They are preparing the words. They are thinking of how to bridge the gap without losing the dignity they have fought to maintain. They are looking for a way to say, "I am here," in a way that honors the journey you have both taken. This is a moment of profound vulnerability. They are terrified of your power, of the way you might reject the version of them that is finally being honest. But they are moving forward anyway. This is the true meaning of courage, moving toward the fear because the alternative is no longer livable. We must also acknowledge the collective nature of this experience. Many are going through similar cycles of awakening. The world is currently in a state of high psychological tension, and these personal dramas are part of a larger movement toward consciousness. By doing this work, by staying in your own peace and observing this process with a grounded mind, you are contributing to the collective healing. You are showing that it is possible to endure uncertainty without falling into despair. You are demonstrating that self-knowledge is the ultimate anchor. This person feels that strength in you.
It is what draws them back, like a sailor guided by a distant, steady lighthouse in a storm. They aren't looking for someone to save them. They are looking for someone who has saved themselves. The decision is being made. It is happening in the quiet moments between breaths, in the dreams that visit them in the night, and in the sudden flashes of insight that disrupt their daily routine. They are moving from a state of maybe to a state of yes. They are choosing to be real. They are choosing to face the shadow. They are choosing you.
Because in choosing you, they are finally choosing themselves. But do not wait at the door. Continue to walk your own path, for it is your movement that is guiding them home. Your strength is the light they are following through the dark.
When the silence finally breaks, it will not be with a whisper of excuses, but with a roar of truth. Trust the psyche. Trust the timing of the soul. And above all, trust yourself. The resolution is arriving, not as a message from the stars, but as a victory of the human spirit over its own fear. Stay reflective, stay grounded, and stay conscious. The path to meaning is always found within. The decision is final. The transformation is complete. The work of the heart is never truly finished, but a new chapter is beginning. You are ready for whatever comes because you are finally at peace with the silence. This peace is not a passive state. It is an active, vibrant participation in your own life. You have learned that the presence or absence of another does not define the core of your being. You have discovered that the meaning of your life is not a destination, but the quality of your attention to the present moment. This person is sensing that in you. They are seeing that you are no longer a person who is searching, but a person who has found, and that is the most magnetic quality in existence. They are coming to you to share in that wholeness, to see if their own fragments can find a place in the light you have created. It is a beautiful and terrifying prospect. They are making the final preparations. The wall is coming down. The truth is coming out. You have already won because you found your own soul in the wait. As the energy between you two reaches this peak, a new phase begins where the weight of the past starts to lose its power over the present. This person is now entering a stage of deep reflection where they are comparing the safety of their current life to the vibrant possibility of a life with you. They are starting to realize that the walls they built to keep themselves safe are the same walls that are keeping them lonely. The silence they once used as a shield has now become a mirror, reflecting their own deepest needs back at them. They are beginning to see that every day they choose to stay hidden is a day they are losing the chance to be truly understood. This is the moment where their internal struggle turns into an external realization. They are looking at the way you move through the world with a sense of purpose and self-respect, and it is acting as a magnetic pull. It is no longer about them deciding if you are right for them. They already know you are. It is now about them deciding if they are ready to be right for you. They are questioning if they have the strength to let go of the old versions of themselves that were defined by hurt and protection. They are seeing that you have already done the work to heal and grow, and they feel a deep urge to catch up to you. This is not about competition, but about a desire to match your frequency, so they don't get left behind in the old world. They are outgrowing. As this shift happens, you might notice very small signs of their presence returning to your space. It might be a subtle interaction, a brief check-in, or a sudden change in how they present themselves to you. These are not just random events, they are tests they are giving themselves to see if they can handle the heat of the connection again. They are testing the waters of vulnerability to see if it is safe to dive in. Your role during this time is to remain exactly where you are in your own power and your own peace. You do not need to reach out to steady them.
You do not need to bridge the gap for them. The gap is theirs to cross. And the only way they will find the courage to do it is by realizing that you are a destination worth the journey. This part of the journey is about the final collapse of the ego. They are coming to terms with the fact that they cannot control the outcome and that love requires a leap of faith. They are moving from a state of thinking to a state of being. They are realizing that no amount of logic can solve a matter of the soul. The decision is being finalized in the quietest parts of their heart. Soon, the internal pressure will become too much to contain, and the silence will have to break. Whether it ends in a new beginning together or a final understanding of why things had to change, you are standing on the edge of a major breakthrough. You are ready because you have already chosen yourself. The universe is simply catching up to the decision you already made to be whole. As the pressure continues to build, this person is moving past the stage of just thinking and into a stage of feeling the consequences of their inaction. They are starting to realize that the space between you is no longer a safety zone, but a void that is swallowing the potential of what you could have been. They are looking at their life and noticing that while everything looks stable, it feels stagnant. The colors seem less bright and the conversations with others feel less deep. They are experiencing a psychological phenomenon where the more they try to push the thought of you away, the more central you become to their everyday experience. You have become the person they want to tell their good news to and the one they want to turn to when things get hard. This realization is leading them to a place of total honesty with themselves. They are admitting that their pride was just a mask for their insecurity. They are seeing that by trying to protect their heart, they have actually ended up starving it. This is a very lonely time for them because they are caught between the person they used to be and the person they need to become to reach you. They are reevaluating their past relationships and seeing clearly for the first time why those connections failed. It wasn't just bad luck or bad timing, it was their own fear of being seen. You are the first person who made being seen feel like a possibility rather than a threat, and that is why they cannot simply walk away. Soon you will see the results of this internal work. When they finally choose to break the silence, it won't be with small talk or excuses. It will be with a weight and a sincerity that was missing before. They are preparing to offer you more than just words. They are preparing to offer you a version of themselves that is healed and ready to stay. They know that you have moved to a higher level of self-worth, and they understand that they cannot approach you with the same old habits. They are waiting for the moment when their courage finally outweighs their fear, and that moment is closer than you think. You can feel it in the shifting energy around you. The final truth of this journey is that the distance was necessary for both of you. It allowed you to find your own strength, and it allowed them to discover their own depth. You are no longer two people caught in a cycle of confusion, but two individuals who are being prepared for a genuine encounter. Keep focusing on your own path and your own happiness, because that light is exactly what is guiding them back through the dark. The story is moving toward a resolution that honors the growth you have both achieved. You have already won because you found yourself in the quiet, and now the rest of the world is just catching up to that victory. As the final pieces of this internal puzzle fall into place, this person is starting to understand that the wait is no longer about them. It is about the window of opportunity closing. They are seeing that you have built a beautiful, full life without needing their permission or their presence. This realization is both painful and inspiring for them. It is painful because it proves they are not the center of your universe, but it is inspiring because it shows them the kind of strength they want to be around. They are now at the point where they are rehearsing what to say to you. They are playing back different scenarios in their head, trying to find the words that won't just explain their absence, but will actually honor your value. They are also dealing with the fear that they might be too late. They look at your social media or hear about your life from others and wonder if someone else has already stepped into the space they left empty. This fear is a powerful medicine for them, because it is forcing them to stop overthinking and start acting. They realize that perfection is not what you were looking for. You were looking for honesty. They are beginning to see that by waiting for the perfect moment, they have missed many good moments. The urgency is now vibrating through their daily life, making it hard for them to focus on anything else. They are reaching the breaking point where staying away hurts more than the risk of being rejected by you. When the move finally happens, it will likely come from a place of sudden clarity. It might be a late-night realization, or a moment of clarity in the middle of a busy day where they simply cannot hold it in anymore. They are coming to you not to ask for something, but to offer something, a true acknowledgement of who you are and what this connection means. They have spent this time in the dark learning how to value the light, and you are that light. They are ready to tell you that the silence was never because they didn't care, but because they cared so much it terrified them. If this spoke to you, comment the word clarity. It shows you are choosing respect over confusion. Subscribe for more truth and share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Stay reflective, stay wise. The path of meaning is always found within. The work is never done, but today you have found a piece of the puzzle.